We'll hear evidence from the defense.
Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls Mr. Sam Fisher to the stand.
Come around, sir.
Your Honor, permission to reposition this demonstrative in the well.
Yes, sir.
Do you mind if it goes right here? It's all right with Your Honor. Permission to proceed.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Can you introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen on the jury?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Sam Fisher.
What do you do, Mr. Fisher?
Not much. I live in a houseboat, actually, down by the Midlands Marina. I just kind of watch the docks there, clean them, you know, and get food for free up at the store. Actually, it's not a bad gig, right? It's a pretty good situation I got going, so I don't need to work.
Any family?
I got one sister, Kathy. She's a dentist over in Sharon'sville. But I don't see her that often, though. I kind of do my own thing. You know, that's all right with me, just grocery shopping for one.
Sir, do you know why we've brought you in to testify today?
Yeah, I do. The murder that we're talking about, I actually saw it that night. I was there. And look, I want to be clear. I'm here to help the police. Okay? I want to help them get this solved as fast as possible.
What do you mean you want to help the police?
Sir, they're the police, you know, and they're very good to me, okay? They keep all the, you know, kids away from roughhousing, down around the docks, away from my boat and stuff. I got a good relationship with them. I know them personally. And they lost one of their own, you know, and I saw it. I just think it's terrible. I just want to help them get this solved as fast as possible.
Mr. Fisher, let's not talk about the police for now. Can
All
we
right.
just talk about what you actually saw?
All right.
How did it start? Where were you?
I was on my boat that night on the deck of my boat at the marina, just doing some chores. I was rinsing out some tuna cans with seltzer water. I remember I saw somebody come walking up the docks, a man.
How far from you?
It was only 2 docks over or so where my boat's moored up, so it must have been 20, 25 feet, very, very close.
Could you recognize the person who you saw walking down the dock?
I could. It was Officer Robinson. I knew him.
What happened then?
He walked to the end of the dock, right, and he was kind of looking out at the water. All of a sudden, somebody popped out from underneath the docks.
What do you mean?
They just jumped out, like they were hiding something, and they started walking up behind him.
Could you see who this person was?
I couldn't see their face. They had a ski mask on, so I couldn't see the face at all.
What about defining characteristics? Could you see how tall they were?
I could. They were very tall. Actually, that's one of the first things I noticed. They were tall, 6 feet, over 6 feet.
Basis?
Lack of foundation, Your Honor. May I explain?
Yes.
The defense has laid no foundation that this witness would be able to estimate exactly how tall the person he saw was to the inch. Without that foundation, that estimation of height's inadmissible.
Response?
Your Honor, we believe that's a matter of weight, not admissibility, and counsel can cross-examine on that if she wishes.
Objections overruled.
Sir, how tall would you say the person you saw was?
6 feet, like I said, over 6 feet, maybe. I mean, taller than Robinson.
Any other defining characteristics that you noticed about this person?
They had a limp.
How do you know?
I remember that. They were leaning on one leg, kind of dragging the other one along behind them.
What did this 6-foot-tall limping person do when they got onto the dock?
This masked girl, she was walking up behind Robinson. Like I said, he was looking out towards the docks. And I remember that's when I noticed she had like a bat, like a rod or something like that. And he kind of turned around, I think, because he heard her coming or something, and then ducked and sort of turned back toward the water as she swung and hit him on the right side of the head.
Sir, did you see whether or not this person swung the bat from the right to the left or the left to the right?
It all happened on the right side, I remember, on the right side.
Sir, do you think you'd be able to show the jury how the two people were positioned if I asked you to step down?
Yeah, I would.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure I saw it.
Your Honor, permission for the witness to step down.
Objection, Your Honor. to substantially more prejudicial than probative. May I explain?
Yes, ma'am.
Unless the defense can lay the foundation that the physical characteristics of anyone involved in this demonstration are the same or even similar to the people we saw on the docks that night, it would be misleading for the jury to see this demonstration.
Your Honor, we're only offering this to show the way that the folks were positioned. In their case in chief, the state called an expert who said that the forensic evidence couldn't tell us the handedness of the person who swung, or whether they were facing each other or facing away from each other. This was an eyewitness to the crime, and the details of it implicate one person rather than another, so we're asking that he be able to demonstrate the positioning.
May I respond?
Briefly.
Your Honor, Mr. Stern just mentioned the details of what happened that night. The problem is, in this demonstration, they can't lay the foundation the details are similar or even anywhere
Well,
close.
you haven't seen the demonstration yet, right? So how do you know?
I don't know, Your Honor. It's just if they can't lay the
All right,
foundation.
when you see it, if you've got a specific objection, you can object then. Overruled.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fisher, can you step down?
Yeah, I would.
And permission, Your Honor, as well for Mr. Zhu or Ms. Cohen to come out as well.
Sure.
Mr. Zhu. So, sir, what I'd like you to do is just imagine that Mr. Zhu is Officer Robinson, and that you're the masked person that you saw, and that the jury out there is the water where you were watching all of it from. You said Officer Robinson was facing the water. Can you just position yourself and Mr. Zhu as you saw them that night?
Yeah, so this is the cop, Officer Robinson, come over here. Look out towards the water there. This is the water, it's sort of at the end of the dock. And I remember if I'm the masked girl, she started walking up behind him.
Could you see how she was walking?
She was limping, I remember. And that's when I noticed that she had like the bat or the rod or something. I think the officer heard her coming because he turned over his right shoulder. So if you just turn over your right shoulder. At that point, the girl started swinging. He threw up his hands like this to kind of duck, shield himself, turned back towards the water, and she hit him
Objection.
on the right side
hold
of
on,
the head.
hold on. Grounds?
403 again, Your Honor. May I explain?
Yes.
The defense still hasn't laid the foundation. The physical characteristics of either of these individuals involved in the demonstration were at all similar to what happened at the docks that night. They can't lay the foundation then that the physical characteristics of these individuals are the same. It's misleading for the jury to see this demonstration where they're acting out what actually happened that night.
Your Honor, I don't understand what physical characteristics Ms. Piacenti is asserting that we're using this demonstration for. All we're doing is showing the handedness, the way that the person swung. And that's something that this witness saw. It's certainly not more prejudicial than it is probative. It doesn't have any unfair prejudice, and it helps the jury understand what happened.
Your objection's overruled.
Yes, Your Honor.
What were you saying the masked person did with the bat?
They swung and hit him on the right side of the head.
Hold on, sir. Your Honor, can you let the record reflect that the witness is swinging from right to left and making contact with the right side of Mr. Zhu's head?
All right.
Sir, how sure are you that that was what it looked like if the jury's the water?
Sir, I'm sure I saw it. I was right there.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. You can take your seat.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Zhu. Mr. Fisher, did you ever have the opportunity to tell any of this to anybody else?
I did. I called 911 that night, right? Like I'm saying, I want to tell them everything, tell them what they need to know. They told me to come in for an interview the following day, I believe.
When you were in the police station, did you tell the police about these characteristics that you identified in the masked person?
I did. I told them about the 6 feet or taller. I told them about the swinging from the right, about the limp. And they kept saying, you know, are you sure? Are you sure you're not mistaken? Are you positive? Like it wasn't right. Like I remembered it wrong.
How are you feeling then?
I felt discouraged. I remember. Like I said, I wanted to help them. I didn't feel like I was being helpful, sir.
Do you remember what happened next?
Someone showed up at the door.
Do you know who it was?
Now I know. It was Skylar Sinclair and her parents, and they were yelling about how, you know, she was accused of doing it. She was accused of doing the murder.
What did you do?
I took one long look at her. I thought her parents seemed, you know, really angry, concerned. I thought she looked kind of guilty. I thought maybe they looked similar. I thought it had to be her. I thought it could be her. I thought it was her. I said it was her.
Why did you say it was her?
I I wanted to help, sir. I thought they looked kind of similar. I was trying to
I mean, sir, did you recognize Miss St. Clair by her face?
by her. No, it wasn't the face. It wasn't the face. Sir. Well, the killer was wearing a face mask, so no, it had nothing to do with the face.
You said you saw the masked killer limping on the night of the murder. Did you see Skylar limping at the police station?
No, I guess I didn't.
You said that you saw that right-handed swing. You see Skylar St. Clair do anything right-handed at the police station?
No, I didn't see anything like that.
Sir, are you aware that Miss St. Clair is actually left-handed?
No, I didn't know that. No.
You said you saw the killer was at least 6 feet tall. Miss St. Clair looked 6 feet tall to you in the police station?
I thought she looked pretty tall. I thought she could be tall. Yeah, I thought she was tall. That's one of the main reasons I said I thought she was pretty tall.
Ms. Cohen, can you have Skylar stand up?
Do you mind just standing up for a second?
Skylar, can you just step out so that Mr. Fisher can see?
See, look, she's very tall, sir. I mean, she's tall. This is one of the main reasons I thought.
Mr. Fisher, did you see what shoes the killer was wearing that night?
That night, the night of the murder, it was flip-flops.
Do you see what shoes Miss St. Clair's wearing in court today?
Well, she's wearing heels. She's wearing high heels.
Skylar, can you take off your heels? Sir, does the defendant still look as tall as the masked person you saw?
I don't know. Now she looks shorter. Now she looks shorter, sir. I don't know.
Skylar, you can take your seat. Sir, were there any other characteristics that you identified this masked person by?
Sir, I thought she was taller. I thought she was taller, sir.
At the time, how sure were you that the masked person you saw was at least 6 feet tall?
Well, that part I was sure of that.
Sir, at the time, how sure were you that the masked person was walking with a limp?
I was sure of that. I mean, I second guessed it when she stopped walking, but I saw her limping.
Sir, at the time, how sure were you that that swing was a right-handed swing?
I know that. I saw it. It all happened on the right side.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Nothing further.
Ross?
Yes, Your Honor. May I set up an enlargement of states for the
Do
map?
you need that exhibit?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
Would you like me to take that down?
No, you can leave. Mr. Fisher, I want to start right where you left off.
All right.
Now, you remember seeing the defendant, Skylar St. Clair, in the police station on March 20th.
That's right. She came in and the parents were yelling about how she was accused of doing it.
March 20th, that was just 2 days after you saw someone at the Midlands Marina in a mask, right?
That's right. A black ski mask covering their face.
Mr. Fisher, I want to be clear. You've previously said you're absolutely positive.
That's right.
The person you saw at the Midlands Marina was Skylar St. Clair.
That's right. That's what I told them. That's what I said. That is what I said.
So I want to talk about what you actually saw that night. You'd agree
All
with
right.
me? This is a map of the Midlands Marina, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
And your boat, it's down here right by point B.
Yeah, that's right. That's the houseboat I live on at B. Yeah, that looks right.
You were sitting on your houseboat when you saw all this happen at the marina, right?
That's right. Pretty close, 20, 25 feet maybe.
You saw someone walking down the docks towards the marina, right?
That's right, Officer Robinson.
And then you saw that masked person come out from underneath the docks.
That's right. Somebody just popped out all of a sudden. I'm thinking, what is this? Yes, somebody popped out, started walking up behind him.
Now, you told us a minute ago you were sure that person had a limp, right?
I was pretty sure, yeah.
Well, you said a direct examination, you were positive that person had a limp, didn't you?
That's right. Like I said, I second-guessed it once they stopped walking, but I know they had a limp.
Mr. Fisher, it's true, the more you watch that person that night, the more he thought they didn't have a limp. Isn't that true?
Once they stopped walking, I thought maybe I had him, but look, I remember back on it, and I remember it, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Mr. Fisher, it's your testimony sitting here in court today. You're certain that person had a limp?
Not 100% certain. No, you're right. Not 100%, because once they stopped walking, I did second guess it.
So, Mr. Fisher, it's true you're not sure that person had a limp at all.
Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure.
So I want to talk about what you saw that masked person do.
All right.
You'd agree with me, like you told us a few minutes ago, looked like they were holding something in their hand.
That's right, like a bat or a rod or something like that.
You saw that person hit Officer Robinson with that object that looked like a bat.
That's right. He swung around, hit him on the right side of the head.
Now you keep saying he hit Officer Robinson on the right side of the head. To be clear, before coming to court today, you've never said you saw the masked person hit Officer Robinson with a right-handed swing, have you?
No, I just said on the right side of the head as he was looking away.
That's right, you saw that person hit Officer Robinson on the right side of his face.
No, the right side of the head.
The right side, you saw that person hit Officer Robinson on the right side of his head,
That's right, I think, yeah.
but not with a right-handed swing.
No, with a right-handed swing.
It's your testimony, you saw that person, the right-handed swing?
That's right, it all happened on the right side.
Mr. Fisher, yes or no, you saw that person swing with their right hand?
Yeah, it all came from the right as I saw it.
Your Honor, Mr. Fisher, you remember making an affidavit before coming to court today?
Yeah, I did.
You'd recognize it if I showed it to you?
That's right, I would.
Your Honor, may I approach opposing counsel with what purports to be the witness's affidavit?
Yes, ma'am.
May I approach the witness?
All right,
Would Your Honor like a copy?
please.
Mr. Fisher, you recognize what I just handed you as your affidavit, right?
That's, yeah, this looks like it, yeah.
Is your name at the top?
Yeah, Sam Fisher.
And if you flip to the last page, that's your signature.
1 second here. Yes, that's my signature.
You see, at lines 106 to 107, you say, I was told I should include everything that I know may be relevant to my testimony, and I followed those instructions.
That's right, I tried to describe everything.
Mr. Fisher, could you flip to page 2, paragraph starting in lines 54?
Yeah, I can see it.
Now, I'm going to read, and if you could read along silently from lines 54.
All right.
Objection, Your Honor?
On what grounds?
Well, we believe this is an improper impeachment. We just ask for an offer of proof as to what line counsel would be reading.
She just told you.
I just don't know where she's stopping,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
go ahead and repeat
And
your-
based on the line numbers that she indicated, we believe this is an improper impeachment.
And why do you believe that?
Because in the affidavit, the written statement of the witness is entirely consistent with the testimony that he gave on the stand.
All right, well, we'll let him testify to that. Overruled. Go ahead.
Mr. Fisher, starting in lines 54, you say, I saw Robinson turn just as the masked person snuck up directly behind Robinson.
That's right.
As Robinson was turning, the masked person pulled the object back like they were about to swing a baseball bat.
That's right.
And then I heard Officer Robinson yell, Tyler, what are you doing? Positive that's what Robinson said. I saw Robinson's hands raised up, and I saw what looked like a bar or a bat or a rod hit Robinson along the right side of the head. Did I read that correctly?
Objection,
That's-
Your Honor. Improper impeachment.
Overruled.
Did I read that correctly?
That's right, like I said, on the right side of the head, not the face.
Mr. Fisher, nowhere in that paragraph did you say you saw the masked person hit Officer Robinson with his right hand, did you?
I'm sorry, ma'am. I tried to describe it. It's exactly how I saw it. I said I saw him hit him on the right side of the head.
Mr. Fisher, yes or no? You mentioned the masked person's right hand in that paragraph.
No, but I talk about it happening on the right side. I guess I should have been more detailed. But look, he was facing away, right? He was ducking, so if he hit him on the right side of the head, it had to come from the right.
Mr. Fisher, that's a no. Nowhere do you mention the words right hand.
I guess not those words. I can add them.
Your Honor, may I approach and retrieve?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Fisher, you saw that person hit Officer Robinson twice with that object, right?
That's right. It was like a bat or something. They hit him once, hit him again on the right side, and then it was awful. He wobbled, kind of fell into the water.
And after you saw Officer Robinson fall into the water, you saw that masked person run up towards the trees. Right?
That's right. The masked girl just took off, basically.
You didn't follow that girl, did you?
No, I didn't. I was kind of shell-shocked. I didn't follow her.
You didn't talk to anyone who's in that store, Land's Landing, that night either.
No, Mansaga, no, I didn't talk to him.
So you don't know if someone who was in that store saw the masked person before they put on that mask, did you?
I don't know that.
Mr. Fisher, it's true. The very next day, you found a bat at that spot marked C, didn't you?
That's right. It was in the path leading up from the docks towards the store.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Redirect?
No redirect examination, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Thank you. Step
Thank
down.
you.